With Arsenal's reported main target Dusan Vlahovic completing his move to Juventus today, Arsenal's race to sign a new striker is starting to heat up. So with only a few days left of this transfer window, will the Gunners look to activate the release clause of Alexander Isak, or maybe make a late move for Lille's Jonathan David? Also, has Edu Gaspar hinted at a deadline day madness, and is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on his way to Catalonia? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Bath14 and it is squeaky bum time because this transfer window is soon gonna come to a close and Arsenal still have so much to do. But as per my friends, be sure to smash a like on the video if you do enjoy, and also do subscribe to the channel if you are new, and help your boy on his road to 80,000 subscribers. But let's get into the Arsenal transfer news, and starting off with our pursuit for a brand new centre forward. Now, of course, the main target was a certain Serbian sensation, but unfortunately, in terms of that, my friends, he is today being confirmed as a Juventus player. With that being the case, Arsenal also have two centre forwards of their own that could be on their way out, and one being our ex-captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And today we have an exclusive from the reliable David Ornstein, who confirms that Barcelona and Juventus make official approaches to sign Aubameyang on loan until the summer. Unclear what Arsenal will do. Talks ongoing between both. If Arsenal grants exit, destination likely be influenced by Morata. Mikel Arteta has decided that this guy does not have a long-term future at Arsenal Football Club. So with that being the case, Arsenal chose not to take Aubameyang to Dubai with the rest of the Arsenal first team. And you also have reliable reports coming out of Spain today claiming that Barcelona are in advanced talks with Arsenal to sign Aubameyang on loan until the end of the season. Now, there's two very key players in this transfer saga, one being Ousmane Dembele, as Barcelona will only be able to sanction a move for Aubameyang if they can get rid of Dembele, and the other player being Juventus' Spaniard in Alvaro Morata. Now, with Juventus confirming the signing of Vlahovic today, it makes Morata almost surplus to requirements, and in terms of Barca, they have targeted Morata as their main striking target. But with that transfer being very expensive and complicated, that's why they've turned their eyes to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But in terms of Arsenal, they want to loan Aubameyang because they are planning to sign a new striker to replace him. You also had the Arsenal manager fly over to the USA to hold a meeting with the Arsenal Ornstein Kroenke, trying to decide what they're going to do with the future of Aubameyang and a potential replacement. And potentially, I think the Arsenal owner will give Arteta the funds to sign their brand new striker, but only if Arsenal can get the likes of Aubameyang and other players out of the door. And the other player could be a certain Eddie Nketiah, because according to the Telegraph today, Newcastle are closing in on the signing of striker Eddie Nketiah. Talks with Arsenal have been progressing well, and he has hoped Nketiah will travel to the northeast over the weekend to complete his move. Let's make this very clear: if Arsenal were to let go of Aubameyang and also Eddie Nketiah, that only leaves Arsenal with Alexander Isak as their only senior centre forward option. The fact they're openly discussing the departure of Eddie Nketiah and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, it confirms to me at least that Arsenal must and hopefully will sign a brand new striker before the end of this window. But in terms of targets, let's start off in Sociedad and let's discuss Alexander Isak, because according to the very reliable James Ollie, Arsenal have been told they will have to pay Alexander Isak's €90 million release clause if they want to sign the Sociedad striker now. Converting that to British pounds, that's around £77 million, a lot of money for a 22-year-old who has so much potential, has all the fundamentals, but so far for that sort of price tag, for me, he's still very unproven. But as the likes of Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein have already confirmed, Isak is up there in terms of Arsenal's top striking targets. So if that is to be the case, in terms of this price tag, it's not going to go down going into the summer. And also, when you go into that summer transfer window, there will also be a lot more competition. Potentially speaking, as high as that price tag is, this might just be Arsenal's best opportunity to pay this release clause up front, sign the player, and get ahead of the rest of the competition. But if it came down to you, do you think Arsenal would pay the £77 million release clause for Alexander Isak? James Ollie also says that sources have told ESPN that Jonathan David is another player under consideration, but Lille will wait until the summer to sell him. It's also understood that other Premier League clubs have expressed an interest, and any late signal he could be available may spark a bidding war. Not only has Fabrizio Romano confirmed interest in this player, but reports have also confirmed that Edu Gaspar has held a meeting behind the scenes with the agent of Jonathan David. So Arsenal quite clearly like this player, but most importantly, Lille don't want to sell him in terms of this transfer window. James Ollie in the same report also claims that Everton's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Napoli's Victor Osimhen, and Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins are names that have also been discussed, but again, Arsenal face an uphill task in convincing any of those three clubs to part company with a key player in the middle of the season. So you've got David, Calvert-Lewin, Osimhen, Ollie Watkins. Yeah, they're fantastic players, but for me, the most realistic transfer of all the striking targets, it is Alexander Isak, and that being because he has a release clause that if Arsenal pay, it's a done deal and Arsenal can get it done like that. We have also seen in the past that Arsenal love a deadline day release clause. Go back to 2020, Atletico Madrid, Thomas Partey, it was those beautiful scenes, my eyes are set on the Swedish international and Sociedad being Alexander Isak. The Times have also claimed that Arsenal will need to sign a striker to sanction Aubameyang's exit, and that Arsenal, Spurs and Newcastle have been offered the chance to sign Alvaro Morata on loan. I think in terms of Morata, I think in some ways he's underrated in the sense of his link-up play and his overall ability, but for me, he is not the finisher that Arsenal require, and he's also a player that requires a lot of confidence and patience. At the same time, what are your own thoughts on Juventus' Alvaro Morata, and on a short-term loan deal, would you want to see Arsenal sign him? But now with only a few days left of this transfer window, things are starting to heat up, and it is really and truly squeaky bum time. What on earth are Arsenal going to cook up? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Okay, let's move on to the other Arsenal transfer news. And starting off with what is a done deal confirmed by Mr. Here We Go himself, Fabrizio Romano, who confirms that Matt Turner to Arsenal from New England Revolution is a done deal confirmed. Full agreement for €7 million plus €3 million bonuses. Now time for paperwork. Turner will join Arsenal in the summer and not in January, ready for next season. And you even have the US men's national team head coach confirming it's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. Undrafted, then a US starter, and now Turner is set to join Arsenal. It's incredible. A massive welcome to our gargantuan institution to Matty Turner, who signs for Arsenal for a fee of around €10 million, and going into next year will be Arsenal's backup goalkeeper to Aaron Ramsdale. You've even had a photo of Turner signing an Arsenal jersey for a fan after the USA's 1-0 win against El Salvador yesterday. And in terms of those stats, according to the American Soccer Analysis, Matt Turner has saved over 22 more goals than expected since 2018. From what I've heard from people that have watched Turner play, this guy is more of a traditional goalkeeper. By no means is he a player that is great with his feet in terms of the level of Aaron Ramsdale, but in terms of the basics, the fundamentals, coming for crosses, making saves, Turner does have a lot of good things, and at 27 years of age is also entering his peak years. I want to talk to them USA Arsenal fans that watch Turner play. What are your thoughts of him signing for Arsenal Football Club? Now, moving on to Arsenal's pursuits for a brand new central midfielder. And starting off with Lyon's Bruno Guimaraes. He's a player that your boy has always massively admired and wanted to see Arsenal sign. But unfortunately for that, today we have received a massive dagger. Because as Fabrizio Romano confirms, Guimaraes' deal to Newcastle is basically done, as Newcastle have agreed a €40 million fee plus €8 million in add-ons. The contract will be until 2026, agent fees last detail now, with the medical scheduled in Belo Horizonte today when the paperwork will be ready. It's a really weird transfer, but fair enough to Newcastle United. These guys have come in without hard, cold cash. They've put that money on the table, and Lyon are always going to accept. Now, ultimately, boy is very disappointed, but also, what about yourselves? What are your thoughts on Bruno Guimaraes going to Newcastle and not to Arsenal, and Arsenal not even making an offer? I think what we have seen this window is Arsenal confirm their priority has always been a centre forward. And in terms of this midfield position, while they still want to bolster it, it's been more of short-term targets instead. And one has been Juventus' Arthur Melo. But in terms of that, according to Gianluca Di Marzio, the deal between Arsenal and Juventus for Arthur Melo has collapsed. Now this is a real mad thing, because Edu Gaspar actually agreed a deal with Juventus in principle to sign Mr. Arthur Melo. But in spite of that, the Arsenal hierarchy refused to give their acceptance, which is very interesting. But also in terms of Arsenal, I think they've kind of made it clear they're going to look to trust the likes of Xhaka and Partey as their go-to pivots going into the second half of the season, and then come the summer transfer window, that's when they're going to go big in the central midfield position and try to sign a far more marquee signing instead. But talking about midfielders, according to reports in the UK, Aston Villa will listen to offers for Douglas Luiz. Now, the likes of Fabrizio Romano have confirmed that Arsenal do like Douglas Luiz, but in terms of this player, I keep on saying it, for me, I'm just not convinced. And I think the likes of Yuri Tielemans and also Ruben Neves are far better standard options, but they are also options that are not available right now and too expensive to make happen. So it looks like in terms of Arsenal, they are pushing their central midfield plans into the summer transfer window. But what you guys make of Arsenal's so far failed pursuit of a brand new central midfielder? Arsenal's January transfer window business so far no ins, and in terms of outgoings, Maitland-Niles, Balogun, Kolasinac, Murray, John Jules, Chambers and potentially Eddie Nketiah. One can only imagine with the amount of wages that Arsenal have got off the wage book, surely Arsenal are going to make a signing. And also in terms of Arsenal, what they're doing once again is cutting away this dead wood, which for so many years us Arsenal fans have cried about, oh, so much dead wood, when are Arsenal going to get rid of it? Well, it looks like in terms of Arsenal, Arteta and Edu Gaspar, they've worked on that in the specific transfer window. But now all eyes are set on potential incomings. Surely Arsenal Arsenal have to sign a player? As per my friends, unfortunately I hate to say this again, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Okay, let's move on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with the Arsenal first team that as it stands are in Dubai and having a bit of a decent time in their mid-season break, as Arsenal have tweeted out the official photos of them training saying putting in the hard yards at the NAS Sports Complex in Dubai. So while us Arsenal fans are sat here panicking our arses off about signings, the Arsenal first team is in Dubai enjoying the sun and having a good time. But ultimately speaking, hopefully Arsenal can use this time to rest and recuperate, with the likes of Xhaka, Partey and Tomiyasu hopefully return to full fitness and availability. Because in terms of our games after this break, it's massive, it's gargantuan, we've got only the top 4 to play for. We are really and truly getting into the business end of the season. Paul Merson, speaking on Mikel Arteta, says the board are 100% behind him and he knows it. He doesn't have to worry about his job, so he can build something good. It's just going to take time. Essentially speaking, Paul Merson is telling us Arsenal fans to trust the process, which in terms of a lot of us, we hate it, but in terms of myself, I've always been a fan of Arteta. But saying that, Arsenal are now backing Arteta financially, and let's just say Arsenal were to give the manager a further £70 million to spend on a striker in this window, the more money that Arsenal spend, the more pressure gets put on the shoulders of Mikel Arteta. Do you guys think that would be enough for Arsenal to get within the top 4? And finally, here you have an Instagram story of the Arsenal technical director Edu Gaspar, posing with a glass and having a bit of a meal. But looking at the guy's face, he looks like a very tired man, I'm sure a very stressed man, as it looks like it's going to be a very busy couple of days for Arsenal Football Club. And so with that being the case, my friends, what are your own thoughts going into transfer deadline day, and what you want and think Arsenal need to do before the window closes? But that is the video around there. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also do subscribe to my channel if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was the latest episode of the Transfers FC, and for us Arsenal fans, Stress FC right now, but for Arsenal it's Squeaky Bum FC as well. So let's see what they do. We want a striker, let's see if they deliver. Anyways guys, I'll see you next time in a bit.